Howdy, Possum Patty here, and it is Slow Stitch Sunday, so come on along. This is my little journal that I made out of a Vera Bradley pocketbook. And I never did turn it into a journal, even though I had made the pages for it. So I decided to sew in some scraps of material and make it my slow stitch journal. And apparently it's a lot easier to make blocks and sew them in than to sew on pages that are already in the journal. But live and learn. I'll know next time. So I cut this little piece of batting here because I might put that in between the two pages when I sew them together. So I'm just going to move that for now. And I have done a little work on this page. The last time I did this part, and I did this really pretty purple flower with the bead, and I sewed on this edging here. And off camera, I did stitch this little fly. I stitched on the wings and across the body and the head. And I did the legs with a single stitch and little French knots. And I found 4 buttons and added those on. That was the chain stitch I did the other day. Oh, and then I did the stitching on the fly before I sewed it down. And I sewed it down with just a little bit of a gold thread around the edge, which is kind of hard to see, but you can just barely see. I just went around the fly with a gold stitch. So this page is coming along. There's only a few more things I want to do. I think I want to add some of this lace across there. And because I added yellow, let me zoom in to the page. I think I'm going to stitch this on with some yellow. So I was in Walmart the other day and they had a set. It was this large ring and it came with plastic bobbins and it wasn't very much money. I said, well, that's cool. So I bought this at Walmart the other day to add to my colorful collection of threads. I'm really getting into collecting all the colors. I want something that's like that button there. Nice bright yellow. Maybe I'll go with this one. Doesn't really matter as long as it's yellow. That one's kind of orangey. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. Here comes my kitty, looking for a lot of attention today. I am just going, let me check my thing. I have all these needles with little bits of thread in them because I was too lazy to put the thread anywhere, so I just stuck it there with the needle. I don't need too much. This is going to be really hard to do with the cat in my lap. See, I had bought these cardboard bobbins the other day, but now I'm liking the plastic ones better. Maybe I'm too rough on the cardboard ones. And I had them on these little rings that I got at the Dollar Tree. I mean, I didn't buy them for this purpose. I just happened to have them in the drawer. Okay, thread a needle with a cat in your lap. See how this is going to go. I gave her some food, but she didn't want to eat it. I went out and bought her special food. Put it in a plate, gave it to her. She turned her nose up and walked away. So I don't know what she wants. She stole this off the desk a few minutes ago, though, so I got to keep my eye out on her. She's going to go up on my shoulder, I think, or no. Maybe just stay right in the camera so I can't work. Okay, you can't sit on it. I can't sew when you're sitting on it. Yeah, so when I wasn't looking, she took this and carried it across the room. And I have my basket of scraps on the floor, so I'm surprised she's not in there grabbing things. Here's a little piece of lace that I cut off of something. An old slip or something. So I'm just going to, I think, do a straight stitch. Right across the fat part there. Do I need to pin it down? Do I have any pins here? Yeah, I got one pin. Alright, just hold that for a second. So the cat is sitting on my shoulder. It's so much fun to have a variety of things to do. Because sometimes I'm in the mood for painting, and sometimes I'm in the mood for journaling, and sometimes I'm in the mood for sewing. So I solved that problem by just having all these different journals and books. So I have a book I can sew in, I have a book I can paint in, I have a book I can journal in, I have a book I can collage in. Also, I was watching Lizzie. I can link her channel below. And she was talking about spirit stitching. And I was like, well, that's something I haven't heard of. And she said it was a combination of the slow stitch and embroidery and machine stitching. So she was using her machine to do, you know, sort of like some free sewing around, and then adding little slow stitch blocks. I guess you call them blocks. What am I doing? Where is this? Okay, I got it all tangled up. I didn't know if I was going in or out here. So I'm trying to talk and sew and take care of this cat on my shoulder. She's getting ready to jump off, I think. Oh, there she goes. Alright, so spirit stitching is a combination of your traditional embroidery, and I gotta stay in the camera here, with the slow stitch, which is a little bit untraditional embroidery, and slow stitch is kind of like doing folk art, I think. And machine stitching, she says, whatever the spirit moves you to do. I like that's very cool. Because some days the spirit moves me to paint, and some days to journal, and some days to sew. Although I guess if I did one thing, I'd get better at it, but that's okay. I gotta keep checking, see where we are. When I thought I put this on here, then I realized I did do this almost the same exact thing on the first page. Over here, I had a little piece of ruffle, but it's facing down. Over here it's facing up, Looks a little different anyway. And a couple of other journalers, journalists, journalers have started little Just Because books. I know Linda D is doing one, and Heather C is doing one, and well, Susan Heil, she's doing a different kind of stitchery book, but basically the same thing. And she's working on blocks. I guess that'll go on something when she's done. I'm gonna knot this. So now every time I go in the store, I'm going to be on this kick to get more colors. At least the thread's not expensive. I mean, you know, like 50 cents. Hey, makes me happy. Makes me happy. Collect colors. Didn't look like it was knotting very tightly. Okay, so it's coming along, coming along. It took me 2 sessions to do this one. And now I've been working on this one for 2 sessions. And I still have to sew those together. Okay, now the next thing and the last thing, I think it's going to be the last thing, was I had taken out these little seed beads. Okay, I'm going to cut this string of beads into this little tin for right now. Looks like I was using this to put my fountain pen refills in. I just want to have a place to put these, and then I want to put them in the background. And I did have a needle ready. I don't know what I do with it. Stand by. The trick is to get a needle that passes through the bead, and that is not it. And I did have one I tested out. I don't know where it went to. Oh, you know what? Did I use it for the gold thread? I might have used it for the gold thread when I was sewing my fly. Nope, that's not it. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I found the right needle, and how am I going to do this? I did something similar on that page, so I'll probably just do like little tiny stitches with these little tiny beads, not in any particular order. I don't know why I picked this dark green thread, maybe because it was just sitting here within reach. Now let's see how that's going to look. That looks fine. Now these little tiny, what do you call these, seed beads, are almost the same color as the background material, but that's okay. They're not like a focal point, they're just supposed to be in the background. It's going to add a little bit of shiny shiny effect, I guess, to the background. Some people are good at doing this. I probably should put them on something that's not so slippery. Like that. Okay, somewhere on this table is a needle. I need to find it. Okay, that bead's not going through. I guess some of the beads have a hole that's a little bit smaller. I'll put that up there. Try another bead. And that one works fine. Am I in frame? So I was already thinking about the next page and the next page. You really don't have to think about what you're going to do. You know, you don't have to do a lot of planning ahead of time. But maybe there's things that you want to do. Like, you know, I'm always doing nature. I want to do a tree. I want to do a mushroom. I want to do a bird. So I've already done 2 flowers. And one has a butterfly and one has a fly. You know, flies are pollinators too. Some plants actually rely on flies to pollinate them. And those are usually plants that have a stinky smell, because that's what flies are attracted to. Okay, somebody's going to put in the comments an easier way to do this with the beads. I know it. And that's what our little community is all about, learning from each other. Okay, I'm probably going to do some of this off camera because it's just going to be stitch, stitch, stitch. Little tiny bead, little tiny bead. And then I'll come back and figure out how to put these 2 pages together. And then I can move on to the next page. This is fun. When you're working on something like this, it's really not about getting it done. Not about the finished product. It's about the doing. Just having fun in the doing. Whoops, not the done. Of course, when you are done, you got something nice to look at, to share. Okay, I'm going to come back when this is done. Okay, I love the added little green sparkle in the background. Lots of texture there. I'm loving this page. Okay, now I think the back of the pages look pretty interesting too. But I'm going to sew them together. So I have my little piece of cotton batting for my batting scrap bag. Say that 3 times fast. My batting scrap bag. And, okay, we're going to stick it down like that. And somehow stitch these together. Or just glue it. No, I want to put some stitches there. I know I'm going to put a little bit of this Craft Bond permanent glue. It's enough to hold it all together. While I figure out what I'm going to do. This is what I do when I make my journal covers. Put a little glue stick and then the batting. Okay, now, see, I want to be careful. I don't want to stitch like this little lace here. I could do just a little, I don't know what you call that stitch, across the top and the bottom, maybe down the side. I didn't do my greens yet. I gotta put some more on here. This is a pretty color. Should that be with greens or with blues? Sort of in the middle. Okay, I'm going to probably go with green. Probably this one. Okay, I probably just have to do this carefully, one section at a time. So I think I'm going to go down this way first. And that'll help hold these together. So I am just going to stand by. What am I going to do? I'm going to put on this side like that. Am I doing this right? Okay, so I'm just going to go all the way down. Okay, let's see if that works. Pretty good, pretty good. Well, the top went fairly well. Focus, focus. So all I have to do now is the bottom, which is going to be a little bit trickier because I got to go under this lace. I don't want to sew that lace down. There's a trick to putting a knot at the end, but I haven't learned that yet. Okay, so let's see, start at the back. I'm going to start at the back on this one so I can see what I'm doing. And this is, I should have gone to the inside. Okay. Cut that knot off and start again. There's always a should have. I should have done this. I should have done that. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. So what's been going on here lately? Not much. Not too much. See, all right, put the knot on the inside and then bring it out here. Okay, so now the knot is on the inside. And okay. Okie dokie. I can see it's going to take me a really long time to do slow stitching, but that's okay. Not a race to see how much you can get done. And I love my first 2 pages. Oh, I have a question for everybody. Do you save the videos that you make? Or you just upload them and delete them? I've been saving them. And I bought a Seagate hard drive to put them on. I bought another one. I had one. Had an old one. And I save all my photos and computer backup and phone backup and you know, camera chip backup, all that kind of stuff. I put them on the external hard drive. So I've been saving the videos too. Take up a lot of space, but that's okay. I'm trying to make a knot here. That's what I'm doing. I could bury this, I guess. Now I've seen people do this, and I guess they just put it under something and then cut it like that. All right, I am going to call the first 2 pages in my Just Because book, Slow Stitch Journal, done, and I like them. Very colorful, of course, nature themed always. I like this. I like it. I like it. Okay, next page is pink. Probably won't get to that today. I love pink and black. For some reason, it reminds me of Barbie doll. Barbie doll. Now this is left over from making the pocketbook. I mean, from the pocketbook, making the journal. Yeah, if you have an old, worn Vera Bradley book, pocketbook, purse, you don't want to throw it out. You could always deconstruct it and use it, you know, in your sewing, journal making. I have black thread. That's kind of interesting. Trying to do something different. I mean, these two have a flower and an insect, and a flower and an insect. I mean, they're completely different, but I want to do a tree, or I want to do a mushroom, or I want to do a bird. Does that look like a tree? Does that look like a mushroom? Well, that could be a mushroom. Or like a tree and put a bird. The little bird button somewhere. Okay, this is the same material I used on that page. I feel like this needs a backing so it'll stand out. Well, I could sew it on there and cut this more like a mushroom shape. And then sew this down. Am I going to keep going today? I don't know. Probably not too much more. So I can cut this like a mushroom. Like that. Can I see it? No. Well, I should give up and go relax, watch some TV, and put that thread around some bobbins maybe. I don't know where this scrap came from. Probably used it in a journal or something. I was using the pliers to pull the needle through a couple of spots where I was going through a whole bunch of layers there. Sometimes the arthritis is not friendly for grasping the needle. Well, let's just see how this looks. I mean, I could get a start on it and then work on it whenever. Seemed like the stem was longer than that. Sometimes it's very pleasing to the eye to have one little thing carry over from the page before. Especially when you use so many different colors like I do. I gotta clean off this table. Well, that would be an interesting mushroom. off. Make it look a little more mushroomy. Well, that's fun. That's a start. That's a start for next time. So I just want to wish everybody happy slow stitching. Have fun in your Just Because book. Thanks for coming along today. Bye-bye.